I'll send it to you. Awesome. I'm here with Mike Miranda, and Mike runs our company, and they apply to Y Combinator, and we're going to do a YC practice session. I did this with tons of companies. In this case, I'm an investor in the company as well. Mike, I'm going to be very terse. It's very stressful because an YC interview is only 10 minutes, and we're going to try to recreate a little bit of that stress. And the real YC partners tend to be more knowledgeable and more certainly nicer than me. So don't worry too much about the actual interview. What do you do?
Cool, thanks, Sid. So OpTonal is an audio-based SaaS tool that helps train new sales reps.
An audio-based SaaS tool. Yeah, of course you're SaaS and you're a tool. You're just software, right? Like,
yeah.
I would say you're an audio-based. You help sales. You do sales training through audio. How about that?
Yep.
Let's try it again. What do you do?
We do sales training through audio.
Oh, how do you do that?
Yeah, so we take recorded customer conversations to create our content and help reps replicate what top performers are saying in the field.
Oh, wow, that's really good. That makes a ton of sense. And I love how short and concise and helpful that answer is. Who's in the company? Who are the founders?
Yeah, it's a great question. So it's myself. I'm the solo founder on the team. And I have a founding engineer and 2 engineers and a part-time sales development representative.
Cool. That's concise and accurate. Where do you live?
So I'm based in New York City, and the rest of the team is based across the globe. We're all remote company.
Cool. Who are your competitors?
Yeah, so our competitors, so there's some startups, namely Second Nature AI. MindTickle is like a larger company, and some other learning management softwares.
Why are you better?
Yeah, so we're better because we understand that reps learn from other reps. That's primarily the way things are shifting. And we're focused on helping make it more efficient to get rep content in front of other sales reps.
That makes a ton of sense. How do you make it more efficient?
Yeah, it's a great question. So there's a ton of, it's become a real trend since remote work is here to stay. It's become a real trend to record customer conversations through tools like Gong or Chorus. And that conversational data is there, but nobody has time to watch hours of video. So we can take that content and say, hey, Sid is the top performer. How does he answer this question? How does he pitch this product? And we can deliver that to new reps or reps that are struggling so they can actually practice in our process, in our tool in OpTonal to replicate top performers.
It is really good. You're doing really good in this interview so far. Your answers are concise, to the point, and the whole product just makes a ton of sense. Hence my investment. Why are you the person to make this a success?
That's a great question. So I was a sales rep myself. I was the top performing sales development rep at GitLab, and one of the top account executives on multiple teams at GitLab as well. Actually, when I started at GitLab, I started as an intern. It was a 3-month internship, and I wanted to get hired quickly because I couldn't live off of $20 an hour that I was getting paid. And I got really good by mock calling. I talked to the top performers and they helped me practice, and I learned what they were saying, and I applied that in customer conversations, and it made me really successful. And it was just so inefficient. And I found when I was leaving GitLab less than a year ago, new hires were still coming to me and asking me, how did I answer this question? What question did I ask after this? When all of that information is accessible in my recorded conversations. So I thought, hey, reps still want to learn from other reps. How can we make this more efficient? And wanted to build OpTonal.
Makes so much sense. How's it going? How much revenue are you making?
Yeah, it's a great question. So we have about...
You said it's a great question for the 3rd time.
Yeah.
It's good to say once, twice, maybe, but you don't want it to become a crutch for your conversation style.
Okay. So we have about $5,600 in ARR. I have 3 customers. And those 3 customers all have total, there's about 21 licenses.
Okay. How fast is it growing?
So currently we are at a stagnant growth rate.
That's not
So
good. Why is that?
yeah, and so the reason why that is, the reason we suspect is that haven't been focusing enough on user retention, been focused on getting prospects and decision makers interested, and they want to try the tool, but not focusing enough on the end user experience to make it something that end users are going to continue to use. So right now we have a heavy focus on user retention, setting up design partnerships and pilots so we can have users to sit with and work with to improve the product and build something that's going to bring them value.
That makes sense. What is a design partnership?
Yeah, so design partnership may be the wrong word for it, but essentially we exchange some usage of the product for a weekly meeting or access to a certain cohort of users.
You give free licenses if they participate in user testing.
Yes. Okay.
Great. What has been your retention so far?
So far we're at 100% because the licenses are not yet up for renewal.
If it's 100%, how come you struggle with it? Because 100% retention is now, it could be 110, could be 130, but
gotcha.
That's not bad.
Yeah, I guess so. The reason I say that we struggle with it is because right now we are stagnant on daily active usage, and so we're not seeing usage of the product with the current customers, and so that's why we're jumping on that to address it immediately.
Okay, so you're not having the seat growth at your existing customers that you would expect. So they trial the product, maybe they pay, but the seats aren't growing. Do you think it's something in the product or in your, because this is the price, what's the price point for the product again?
So it's $840 per user per year.
Okay, so you could do some customer success to make them successful, but do you think why is the growth stagnant? Is the product not good enough? Do you not enable them enough? Or what's the main hindrance?
Yeah, a little bit of both. So I think we haven't enabled them enough. One of the challenges that I've learned with this software that has to be specifically content driven is typically that takes a lot of work on the leadership end. So when we were initially started, we had a lot of questions and a lot of requirements. Send us this, help us answer this. And so there's a longer implementation. And I think for the users, the experience in the product wasn't as good as it could be.
Cool. What's the market for this? What's the total market you could do?
Yeah, so really we can sell to anyone who has a sales team. I mean, when we look at, like, we would fall under a category of maybe sales acceleration, and was about an $80 billion market last year, and it's just continuing to grow. And I look at
how big is the market again? What's the dollar number?
About 80 billion.
That's a lot. How is that market defined?
It's called the sales acceleration market.
Cool. Who's going to be your next hire?
Yeah, that's a great question. Probably most likely a front-end engineer with some design experience capabilities.
Thanks. Are you willing to relocate to Silicon Valley?
Absolutely.
What do people commonly not understand about your market and that you do?
Yeah, one of the biggest things is, I would say, the peer-to-peer learning. I would say that one thing that people from my observation have failed to understand is that the sales enablement supply chain is being disrupted. Gen Z is coming into the workforce digitally native. They don't want to sit on an hour webinar, sometimes hearing from people who have never sold before or haven't sold in their industry. They want short form content, and they want to learn from credible sources. I think that's something that the market is currently missing, or people don't understand.
That's great. give me a data point that you are a resourceful person, that you are intrepid.
Yeah, that's so I would say one of the biggest things is, building this product part-time. We're able to acquire customers. So before going full-time, we're able to acquire our initial customers.
Great. You're full-time now, right?
Yes, full-time now.
What are additional areas you can expand into if this is a success?
Yeah, so a big area, well, I think there's a number of different verticals in terms of sales teams and the B2B opportunities. And I think further down the road, there could be even opportunities for consumer applications, people that are giving feedback, people that are giving speeches. People are becoming more and more aware in terms of mental health and communication. And I think practice can really elevate communication.
Great. Can you show me demo?
Yeah, absolutely.
And while you start up the demo, I think I didn't explicitly tell you before, but I think that the conciseness of your answers is extremely impressive. That's what a lot of people struggle with. And kudos for doing that. That's not easy in something you're so close to.
Thank you. I will share. Gotta go back for a moment here. So I've just selected a few objections that I'm going to practice. I'll start practicing.
Hello?
Sid, it's Mike from OpTonal. You weren't expecting my call. Do you have half a minute so I can share why I'm calling, see if it makes sense to chat? And so I can record multiple in a row, or I can just practice one off.
Okay, but why don't you just, like, you start the recording and you click and then you get the response from them and you do the next thing? Like, it feels weird to go
Sorry,
out.
Sid, my audio. I can't hear you.
Oh,
I
think I'm working.
Yeah. It's weird.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Sorry.
You did one question and answer. That seemed great, but I felt like it's like, oh, now you get the second question or something. Why do you get thrown back to the main menu? Can you do something with multiple steps?
Yes, let me try something different. I'm gonna check something real quick. We just implemented a change, so let's see.
Betty, anything you want to say to fill the time?
Would one of the questions be why YC? How will YC be helpful for OpTonal?
Maybe one question can be, why did you apply and what do you hope to get out of YC? I think, look, it's a 10-minute interview. They know why you're there. They're the most successful accelerator on the planet and their outcomes speak for themselves. So you'd be an idiot not to apply. So they typically don't ask that unless it's like, for example, if you're an established company, you have $100 million in revenue already. Okay, then it's a good question. But like for this, where it's kind of their sweet spot, I don't anticipate they will ask that.
Okay, sorry. Okay. So okay, here we go.
Hello?
Hey, Sid, it's Mike from OpTonal.
What's the main problem you're solving?
So we're helping teams generate more pipeline over the phone, getting reps ramped faster, and building confidence to avoid call reluctance.
Why is that better than just doing the same thing on a live call?
Yeah, it's a great question. I still think it's valuable to have a live mock call. I just think it's unrealistic to do them every day. The more practice a rep has, the better they'll do on the phones, the more pipeline they'll generate. So I can continue to do this with multiple objections.
Awesome. So you're going to make that's great. You're going to make a custom YC demo with typical interview questions from YC, right?
Yeah, exactly. I was a little bit, I was going to do that, but the only reason I was a little bit hesitant is because they like well, I don't know if I can share because it says keep it internal.
Okay.
I know what parts of it. So anyways,
Awesome.
but yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Mike. Great demo.